Alright, so today we are today we are here for the draft for ACRE. So basically, for any teams that have not yet signed their full-time or have not yet confirmed their full-time driver lineup, what we have here is a chance for these drivers to pick to get their lineup set up. So yeah, but we're also here to announce the rule book, which we will be doing first. So I guess before anything else, we'll do that, and then yeah, we're gonna have a stream tomorrow. Where I wanted to do this for a while, but I finally got around. I think we have enough races now to where we can do this. So yeah, we're gonna be watching watching some old ACRE races tomorrow, from the Pioneer ACRE and Argyle and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, but yes, we're going to start with the ACRE rulebook, so you guys cannot yell at me for not having the rules out. Write these down, hire a transcriptionist real quick, take the captions, hope they're accurate, write that down, send it to a book publisher, publish that book, and give me 80 to 100% of the rights of the money you get from that. I don't care. Just figure some way out to remember this information. Now, it is a lot of information, but a fair amount of it is common sense. But yeah, if I do miss anything, let me know, because I want to get this figured out. I'm sure there's something that I missed that we have been using for a rule in the past. So if that is true, then definitely let me know in stream chat, comments afterwards. Let me know somewhere. So. Alright, no, I did not want to undo that typing. That would be bad. Alright, introducing the 2025 rulebook so far. Alright, Section 1, track limits. Section 1, 1.1. This is going to be a long process. This is at least 5 pages worth of text, except it's on the Notes app, so it's just one really big scroll, basically. Alright, anyway. Also, I didn't have time to build a draft building or, like, anything for that, or to announce the rulebook here. I couldn't build, like, a campfire for story time. So we're announcing it at the awards ceremony venue, because, yeah, I'll have to come up with a campfire for story time next time. But anyway. Or better yet, a school where we can just walk in and have a little campfire story. But anyway. Alright, so this is Section 1, track limits. 1.1, drivers will follow the predetermined track limits set by officials before the race. Failure to do so could result in time penalty, blah, blah, blah. Basic stuff. 1.2, super speedway races will have a WL line rule. Drivers may go below the WL line but do not have the right-of-way. Drivers below the line, unless obviously caused by the car on the outside, will be blamed for an accident caused by racing below the WL line. 1.3, road course races have track limits set by the lines and the curbs. Drivers may have 3 tires off of the curb or over the white line, but if all 4 go over, drivers will be subject to a drive-through penalty. Now, I don't know about that. Basically, it's going to get more severe penalties as it goes on. Like, if you just slightly cut the corner, yeah, I think I updated here. Drivers will be given a warning, or, yeah, okay, so I forgot to delete that part when I copy-pasted it from the 2024 rules, I think, when I had that as, like, the most severe penalty. So, drivers will be given a warning or penalty depending on how blatant the corner cut is and how many times the driver has cut. So, if you, like, literally go from, like, at the Christmas 500, where if you, like, messed that up and you just cut the whole turn and you made a sharp left and just, like, completely avoided the banking, assuming the friction didn't just, like, send you barrel rolling 15 times, that would be a pretty significant penalty. Compared to if you're, like, just barely off, we might give you a warning of, like, hey, you know, you went off track, be careful, yada yada. But if you, like, just, like, completely cut, like, turn 11 at Sonoma, you're probably going to get a time penalty or a stop and go or something. It depends on that and how many times you've done it. 1.4 on short/intermediate tracks. Track limits are quote unquote if it's paved, it's legal. If issues arise, such as dive bombing, so like at Bristol that one time, I remember everybody was sending it in the corner and kept washing up into the wall. Then we can change that. So yeah. Track limit rules apply to all races unless stated otherwise pre-race. Basically, if we say something else in pre-race, like, hey, we don't want you, I don't know, or UPR, that's going to be a good example. So, like, in qualifying for UPR, we aren't going to want you going below the green line in turn 3, but that's fine during the race. So, like, that would be an example of, like, if we say something otherwise, listen to that, but otherwise, stick to the rules here. And then 1.6 is something we kind of already mentioned, where if issues arise during the race, officials are allowed to kind of change the rules in an attempt to fix the issue. So, again, that Bristol example where everybody was dive bombing the corner, if problems like that arise, then the officials can step in, tell drivers, hey, don't do that, we're going to follow this now, and try to fix it. Reasons for penalty under Section 1. Constant disobedience to track limits. Problem mostly takes care of itself, though. The penalties handed out through or after the race for time penalties, that sort of thing. I'm not too worried about that. We should be able to figure that out pretty easily. Alright, Section 2. The best thing I could put for this was driver etiquette. I don't really know any better name for this one, but yeah. 1.1. Backwards driving is strictly prohibited and will not be handled lightly, and penalties will get worse with every infraction of this rule. 1.2. Fighting is not allowed leading up to or following an event. Refer to 1.2-A for legal fights. 1.2-A. If a driver challenges another to a fight, and if both drivers agree, we will send them to a boxing game where they can figure it out themselves. The loser will get double the penalty, and the winner will get away penalty free. Both drivers must agree to this beforehand, though. So basically, if you really aren't happy with somebody, we're gonna get both of you in the ring, and you're gonna make a stand, and we're just gonna see what happens here. I feel bad for the Roblox avatars that have to go through this beating that will occur on the battlefield. Honestly, we might not even send you to a boxing game. We might just send you to a full-on war game and just see what happens. I don't know. We'll figure it out. 1.3. Drivers are expected to see the race through and not bring on unnecessary cautions. Basically, don't be Carson Hocevar and spinning yourself out just to bring out a caution. Pretty clearly that's going to happen, but we're going to try to stop it as much as we can, because it's going to be nearly impossible sometimes to judge that. I mean, it is possible to just practice that art so well of hiding a caution. Again, most of these rules you can get by probably, but I'm gonna have this rule book open on my phone beside me during all the races. So if I see something, we might have to throw like cautions on me, so I can like scroll through the rule book and be like, nope, you didn't break a rule there. Nope, not there, not there, not there. Right? So we'll see. 1.3A, false yellows are prohibited. So basically, if you just throw a caution for no reason, then you're gonna get penalized. Now, obviously, if there's like a misunderstanding or something, that's different. But if you're just blatantly like, oh, I'm 15 seconds back, and there's 4 laps left, I need a caution, and you just throw a caution, and you're still going 190 miles an hour on the back straightaway, then you're gonna get a penalty. That's what we call false yellow. So, yeah, oh gosh, Fire's in the chat. Fire, listen carefully to the... Well, actually, never mind. I forgot you changed. You're actually a decent driver now. Wait, well, I mean, actually, no, okay. I was going to say when you race, but you race in the most recent race. So, never mind. Alright, 1.3-B. Back marker yellows may not be thrown if they meet one of the 3 categories. 1, they are out of the way of the field by the time the drivers come around. Number 2, they get going in a reasonable manner. So basically the same thing as number 1. They aren't like, and what I mean by get going in a reasonable manner is like they aren't like getting going just to turn the car around and have it parallel, or not parallel, perpendicular to the outside wall, and they're like blocking the track. Like if they get going and they just do that, that's not getting going in a reasonable manner. Well, the Ravens are winning it. Football on Saturday. No, anyway. And number 3, clearly has no chance of moving through the field if a restart were to happen. So basically, if they have shown absolutely no speed And it's pretty clear that even with a miracle, they're at best going to get like third. We might not throw the yellow. Like, at that point, you're probably going to finish in the back anyway. Not worth throwing the yellow. 1.4. If a driver is to go AFK, the driver will have 3 minutes before we go on without them. And if it is out of their control or could take more than 3 minutes, they must explain what it is that they are leaving for. And depending on what it is, drivers may or not keep their laps. If a driver is to go AFK for a while, not under yellow, drivers are expected to go to pit road. So basically, if you're going AFK, get to pit road. You have 3 minutes. We'll give you 3 minutes, and then if you take more than 3 minutes, we'll take off without you. Depending on what you're going for, you keep your laps. But yeah, that's what that rule is basically saying. 1.5. You may wreck people, just don't go on a rampage and destroy a bunch of people in a row for no reason. So basically, you can wall people, but if you just like spin someone out for no apparent reason, and then you find another guy, and you're like, "Oh hi, buddy," and you just right hook him, and you spin another guy out for no reason. That's a rampage. I mean, I guess it's up to the officials too. We'd have to talk to them on some of the stuff, but yeah, don't be a menace to society, basically, and you should be good. That one. 1.6. You may retaliate if it is considered justifiable. So an example of this would be if somebody bumps you out of the way on lap 4 in race 8 of the season, costing them a championship like 30 races later, and just like absolutely like Kenseth v. Logano wipeout. That's unjustifiable. Obviously, if it's just like a slow build up of escalation, then like most of the time it is, that's gonna be justifiable. But if it's just like a sudden like 0 to 12 escalation, then you know that's where we might have some issues. 1.7. Wall riding is not allowed. Yeah, that's kind of obvious. I don't want a Ross Chastain simulator. 1.8. If you are lagging, if you are able to state that you are lagging, get to a wall, drop back away from the pack or the group of cars that you're with, or if we're all in a single file, spread out, run, just get to the pits. If we're in the pack or somewhere around the lap, get out of the way, get to pit road, and you will be placed under lag AFK where you will not lose your laps. Obviously, if we finish the race or something and you aren't, and you're still under lag AFK, that's just unfortunate at that point. We'll try to give you time, but yeah, I mean, if it's something like that, then you're just kind of out of luck. 1.9, we're gonna be a little more lenient with the rules with chat and stuff like than we were last year. We're gonna kind of use chat as radioactive. Just don't be jaded. That's literally what it says in the rules. In chat / radioactive will be good. Just don't be jaded. Like, don't be insane. Don't be too stupid with what you're saying. You should be fine. And 2.0. I hope this rule is never used, but I have to put it here because we are technically a company, so I feel like this is standard company protocol. Any illegal crimes in the physical world or acts such as doxing will result in a penalty for real world stuff. We shall be notified within 72 hours of the event because I feel like all companies have their rules, so I just felt like I had to add it. Honestly, don't care if you don't tell me about it. Kind of would prefer you don't tell me about it, but it is welcome information, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, reasons for penalty under Section 2. Backwards driving, which is an automatic disqualification from the race, and a suspension, which is up to the officials for length, who will also be deciding the rest of the penalty if there is a further penalty required. Post-race fights, penalty is up to the officials. False yellows is an automatic 80-point penalty with possible further consequences from the officials. Being a menace and going on a rampage, penalty is up to the officials. Unjustifiable retaliation, penalty is up to the officials. Wall riding is a 5-second time penalty plus the time you gain. So let's say you gain 10 seconds, you're getting a 15-second time penalty for wall riding. And actual illegal crimes, the penalty is up to the officials. So don't be speeding up. I really don't care. Anyway, all right, team ownership. 1.1. This is section 3, team ownership. 1.1. Anybody approved by ACRE may own a team and purchase a charter or field an open car to compete in an event. 1.2. Charters allow a car. This is basically going into charters. They allow a car to be in the field. They can be, and buyer and seller can arrange a deal, but it must meet a minimum of 10,000 road stock or NASCAR game dollars. 1.3. Maximum 4 cars per team. So you can only have 4 chargers at a time. Now, if you wanted to, there are 4 open spots. So let's say you have a 4-car team, and you can put 4 open cars on the open entry list and try to get those cars in the race if you wanted to. So you could technically have an 8-car team still, but it'd be odd. You'd have to find the drivers to do that. But you know that I don't plan on doing that, so that's other people's jobs. Section 4, cautions. If cautions, oh wow, that was terrible reading. 1.1, cautions will be thrown if there is a wreck that deserves to be recognized as so. Pretty obvious. It is up to the driver still because they have to take the wreck score, but there are a few things where if there are a few things where we'll just automatically throw a yellow, which now that I'm thinking about, I gotta add one here. Hold on. Alright, so section 1.2. If a car were to go upside down, a caution will not immediately be thrown, as they will be given a little bit of time to try to recover the car before a yellow is thrown. This yellow may be reversed if they save the car right after the yellow. So basically, if you flip and you're flying and all that stuff, we're going to give you an opportunity to save the car. And then if you don't save, and then if we throw the caution and then like a second later you get the thing going, we can reverse that yellow and keep it green. Basically, if I like call it a half a second too early on the yellow, we can undo that caution. So just keep the car going. If you see caution still on the screen and you save it, keep the car going, and hopefully I'll notice and we can undo that yellow and get that fixed. Let's see here. If the track is blocked, yellow will be thrown. That's 1.3. I feel like it's pretty obvious. 1.4. If a majority of the field is in a wreck, caution will be thrown. So 50% or more, if the field is wrecking, we're going to put the yellow out. No matter what. Like, you brought that upon yourself at that point for the drivers in the race. Alright, section 5. DNFs and wrecking. Now, this is where the first, I would say, major change comes in. I feel like all the rest of this stuff hasn't been too significant in terms of different stuff. That's where the first major difference comes in. So, section 1.1, if a driver hits 100% on the wreck score, they DNF from the race. Example, 1.5. If you hit 1.5 out of 1.5, you're out of the race. That's normal. A wreck score on a normal race is 1.5. And for a normal streamed race, it is 2, with the exception of the Summer 1000 and the ACRE 500. But again, that would be one of those things where it's like we change something before the race. So one of those obvious things like, hey, you know, the longer race, we're going to give you more wave rounds or wreck count, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I just realized that's something else I should add. Down here. Alright. I'm like adding this as I go while I think of stuff that's like, oh yeah, I forgot to add this. So again, if I miss something, let me know. How did I get? Oh, because I was idle for 20 minutes. Okay. All right. This is okay. So this is where the major change comes in. Rec scores will now be handed out. So a rec score can be handed out in many ways and different severities. So to start, first one, if you are slightly involved in an accident, so let's say let's say there's a wreck going on and you are trying to avoid it and you get clipped by somebody and you slide, you spin a little bit, and then you save and you continue on with your day like nothing happened. That is now 0.25 on the rec score. So you have a new number to be added to the rec score now. So there's that. So you'd have to be involved. You have to be minorly involved in a ton of accidents to DNF at this point. If you just keep getting 0.25s. 0.5 is majorly involved in an accident. So let's say, like, you're Ryan. Well, let's say you get Ryan Blaney right hooked into the outside wall. That would be like a 0.5 with the accident. And then, let's see here. One is if the wreck was your fault or there was a flip. So basically, cautions will now be up to the drivers if they want to take the wreck score, because this pretty much sets what the wreck score would be. So if we see something that we think deserves to be a yellow, then we're going to put the caution out now. So that's kind of back into our control, and if drivers see something they think should be a yellow, they better hope it's not a false yellow, because you will be basically losing out on a race with points. I need some water here. Alright, Section 6, the points format. 1.1, normal races will have this points format. So, I guess we'll go from bottom to top. So, assuming we get a 28 car field with the 4 open cars, then 0 points for 28th through 25th. Obviously, that'd be the 4 extra cars. So, you finish like 28th out of 24 technically. You probably should get 0 points. But yeah, anyway, 24th. So there should be 24 chartered cars, hopefully. So yeah, there's that. 24th, 0 points. 23rd, 1 point. 22nd, 2 points. 21st, 3. All the way up to 14th with 10 points. It just goes up. So 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15th, and 14th place. It's just 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then when we get to 13th place, you get 12 points. 12th place gets 15 points. 11th place gets 18 points. 10th place gets 20 points. 9th place gets 24 points. 8th place gets 25 points. 7th place gets 28 points. Let's see here. 6th place gets 30 points. 5th place gets 35 points. 4th place gets 40 points. 3rd place gets 50 points. 2nd place gets 60 points. And the winner gets 80 points. So, pretty significant gap from 2nd to winning. Obviously making winning more valuable. So, yeah, there's that. Let's see here. 1.1a. Streamed races. Okay. Streamed races will have the top 3 finishers awarded with a predetermined amount of points for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So, example, ACRE 500, winner gets 500 points, 2nd place 250, 3rd place 125 points. There's a pretty clear-cut example. 1.2, stage winners in a streamed race will get 10 points, and in a normal race they will be getting 5 points awarded to them. 1.3, the drivers that lead the most laps will be awarded 15 points, 15 bonus points in normal races, and in streamed races 30 bonus points. Although that streamed races one, it might take me like a week or 2 to actually calculate the points, because I will definitely be doing that in segments most of the time. I'm not gonna sit there through the Summer 1000 and watch however long that takes the whole time just to calculate who led the 1,000 laps. That will be done over the course of maybe a month for that one. So just know that those may not be coming out right away. So for the streamed races, especially if it's like the Summer 1000. But yeah, anyway. 1.4, the playoff format. In 2025, the playoff format will go as follows. 6 cars will get into the playoffs through points. I don't know why I said that like I was singing or something. 6 cars will, I got hiccups or something. Jeez. Anyway. We'll get in through points with 2 wild card spots for drivers with the most wins not in the top 6 off of points. When the playoffs begin, there will be a points reset as follows. And this is 1.4-A, which is the points reset. The average 100 points of the playoff drivers. Every win will give you 10 extra bonus points. Stage wins will get you 5 extra bonus points. Most laps led will get you 10 extra bonus points. And the regular season champion will get 50 bonus points. So that's how the points reset will go. And then there are other bonus points that may be earned through winning the year-end title with the 2 other formats. So, okay, so basically I worded that wrong. You can earn bonus points by winning in other formats. So if you win the season-long points format or the playoff format without the playoff points, so it's like the 2014 through 16 playoff format, you get 150 bonus points for winning one of those. So if you win both of them, you get 300 bonus points. Which at that point, I mean, if you win those and with the points reset chase format we have, basically, you deserve to be champion at that point. I mean, you won season long, you won the playoff, you won the ACRE standings. Like, you deserve to win at that point. So yeah. This is one of my personal favorite. Actually, we got 2 of my personal favorite rules in the rule book here. Actually, probably my 2 favorite, now that I think about it, but these are definitely up there for sure. Section 6, 1.5. Wait. Where is it? There it is. If a controversy is to arise to decide the final playoff spot, Jeff Gordon is to be added as a 9th playoff driver, as well as Knocking Cat being added as the 10th playoff driver in the field. So yes, it is literally in the rules that we must add Jeff Gordon as an extra driver if there is a controversy to decide the final playoff spots. And then 1.6 is another one of my personal favorites. If the championship is to end in a 3-way tie, the tiebreaker will not be decided by wins, but rather by a 3-car race in California. So, I know Los Angeles, that track isn't supposed to be out until on the 2026 schedule, but I will have that prepared just in case. I highly doubt we're going to have a 3-way tie for the title, but just in case we do, we have that ready. Alright, here we go. Here is probably like half the rule book, actually. Section 7, which is the race week, in parentheses end, format/procedures. This is where 95% of the rulebook and the time to write the rulebook went. So, buckle up because this has almost up to 3. Alright, so here we go. Almost dropped the controller. Alright, let's see here. 1.1. All races will have at least 1 practice session of varying lengths, assuming I have time to and all that stuff. But we're going to try to get at least one practice session for all the races, whether that be like 5 minutes somewhere. We're going to try to get at least 1 practice session for every race. Normal races will be definitely shorter practice than streamed races for sure. 1.2, the qualifying format will either be group qualifying for X amount of time or a 1 to 2 lap run based on if the game has a scoring system to view the fastest lap. So like if we just can't view the fastest lap, we're going to have you out there. Hold on. Alright, anyway. Where was I? So basically, if there's no like scoring pylon where we can just view the fastest lap, that drivers put up, then we're gonna, well, not probably, we're gonna be using just single lap runs. But if if we can view who ran fastest laps and stuff, then we're gonna use that. We're gonna have group qualifying. 1.2a. The top 4 open cars will qualify to get into the race. If more than 4 open cars show up on race day and didn't qualify, it is first come, first serve. So, basically, the same way the starting lineups were after qualifying when we had people, yeah. Alright, let's see. 1.3. In all races that are 10 or more laps in length, they will have stages. Not much to talk about there. 1.4. Pre-race ceremonies are to consist of the Pledge of Allegiance in normal races and the national anthem for streamed races, assuming time allows, and yada yada. Obviously, there's situations where things could change. I'm not saying everything's gonna be perfectly ideal. We can get everything in. We're gonna remember it, all that stuff. But yeah, that's the plan at least. If able to, we're going to try to present nation colors, have a flyover edited in, and a command to fire the engines. But again, pre-race ceremonies, I'm not too concerned about that. That's just if we are going to do that. That's what to expect. 1.5. Drivers must go around the track in a parade lap for normal races, except for Rainbow Warrior Raceway, New Jersey Superspeedway, and Circle Lake, Winnebago, because those are all over 20 miles in length tracks. So I don't want to sit there for an hour doing a parade lap. So that's more of a time-saving gesture right there. What in the world did I just do? Alright, 1.6. Yes, 1.6. No, I don't want that. Alright, 1.6. On the initial start, drivers will line up drivers will line up in a double file manner based on qualifying positions, with pole position choosing the inside or outside lane. And then 1.6a, if people who didn't show up for practice and qualifying show up for a race, they will line up in order of joining the game behind the cars that qualify for the event. And charter drivers will get priority there too. So that's another benefit of being a chartered car. If a non-chartered car shows up and they show up ahead of you, but you have a charter and you show up afterwards, then you can leapfrog them in qualifying. That's just how that works, unfortunately, for the unchartered vehicles. 1.7. The starts and restarts will be determined with a timer ranging from 3 to 15 seconds, depending on a wheel that is spun prior to the restart. And if there is a typo, then the restart will be called off. So basically, if I mean to type 10 seconds and I accidentally type in 1 second, like I have a few times, we're going to call the restart off and redo that restart. 1.8. If on a restart or the start, a driver is to have a false start or jump start, they will be expected to give back the time by letting off the gas or braking. Failure to do so will result in a time penalty that is equivalent to the time gain on the jump start. 1.9. When stage ends, a caution will not be thrown, unless obviously there's a caution that comes out for a wreck, but there are no stage cautions. 2.0. Drivers may join after the initial start of the race, but will be marked laps down based on this process. And there's a 12-line process here, so Stay with me. If they join before the end of stage 1, they are on the lead lap. If they join in stage 2, so as soon as stage 2 starts, they are 1 lap down. Plus, going by this system, the rest of the stage lengths. And if there aren't stages, if it's not a long enough race to have stages, it goes by the 30 and 60% rule, because that's how we decide the stages. So it's just 30% of the race. If they join before we hit the 30% mark, they're not a lap down. 30 to 60%, they lose lap. They only lose some of the laps. And then 60 and beyond, they're just however many laps down. But yeah, here's the thing. So stages from 3 to 10 laps in length, it's 1 lap. Stages 11 to 18 laps in length, it will be 2 laps. For every 2 laps you miss, you go lap down. For stages 19 to 24 laps in length, it's every 3 laps you miss, you go lap down. For stages 25 to 36 laps in length, it's every 4 laps. 37 to 50, it's every 5. 51 to 60, every 6. 61 to 75, it's every 7. And then if it's 76 laps or longer, it's just every 10 laps at that point. And if they join in stage 3, however many laps we completed in the race, they're going to be that many down. Obviously, Summer 1000 with 10 stages is the exception, but I mean, that's just a unique event, so yeah. 2.1. Merging will be allowed under certain conditions, such as a driver getting back late from a restart and they weren't ready and they're back, we might just have a merge. Or coming out of the pits from being AFK. We might just tell them to merge. 2.1a, this is another one of my personal favorite rules. If a driver is to page the field while merging, they will not have a penalty, but shall be memed on for the rest of their life. So basically, if you see a guy that will page the field, I want you to look that guy straight in the eye and absolutely mock him to death. Like, make fun of that guy for being a bad driver. There's no penalty for it, but they should be memed on severely. 2.2. If a driver joins the race for the first time, the caution will be thrown no matter what. But if they left, then returned, they will be merging. 2.3. If a driver is called to dinner mid-race, they shall pull into the pits, and they won't lose laps. They get the dinner time provisional thing. 2.4. On restarts, drivers must have all 4 tires in the restart zone. Within the restart, so like in front of the restart line, pretty much, to classify as a legal restart. So that's a pretty basic thing. We've been doing that for a good amount of time. 2.4a. You may not be on the banking for a restart zone, assuming that there is enough space on the track, or the front straightaway of the track isn't already banked. If it is unavoidable to be on banking, this is with exceptions of the entire front straightaway is banked, then you're just going to line up based on the positions you're at the moment of caution, and you have to be within a car length of the car in front of you for the restart. 2.4b. If space allows, drivers may not be on a turn for the restart zone. So UPR is another example here. Obviously, turn 4 is like right next to the start-finish line pretty much. So basically, if we can fit you all before the banking, then line up there. If we can't, then you're just going to kind of have to line up single file or double file. I don't really care how. You just have to be within a car length of the car in front of you. You can't be out of them. 2.4c. On a restart, it will not be considered a jump if they go before 0. As long as they don't cross the line before 0, they are okay. Nothing new there. Just don't cross the line before 0, pretty much. You can get on the gas before 0, just don't cross the line before 0. 2.5. A race must be at least halfway complete before a race can be called. So basically, let's say I have to go, and obviously I'm the only person that knows how to run these races properly. Hopefully with the rule book other people can, that'd be great, but I got it. We have to have an official there, and I know most of the officials aren't gonna show most of the time. So, yeah, we have to. Basically, if I have to go for some reason, if we're 55% of the way through the race could be called. But we also have to refer to 2.5a, which is if the race is past halfway and the race won't be completed for whatever reason, drivers will race to 2 to go at a shortened time. So basically, like, 7:15, it's going to be 2 to go. There's like something like that. Or we're just going to shorten the race to like 10 to go at the line or something like that, right? So not anything too crazy there. 2.6, this is a change. All races will have 3 overtime attempts to try to finish the race. So streamed, normal, it doesn't matter. We have 3 attempts of overtime. 2.6a, on the final overtime attempt, the drivers will race back through the 2 laps. If there is an interference along the way on those 2 laps, the caution will be thrown and scored at the moment before reaching the interference. So we're going to get as close as we physically can to reaching the interference. That's where you're going to be scored. Let's see, 2.7. Drivers have a setup range to follow. Failure to do so will result in a penalty. So again, I'll tell you guys the setup range. I have to input the setups. If you want to run an illegal setup, I'll put it in for you because I have to listen to you on the rule per this. I have to listen to you. I should probably have that. 3.0. I have to, or actually, it'll be 2.7a. Basically, it's the customer is always right thing. Let's see. 2.7a. I have to listen to the drivers on the setup because the customer is always right. So yeah, I have to listen to you guys on setup. So if I say you cannot run a setup that is looser than 22, and you say I want a setup of 23, I have to listen to you on that one. So that's your own fault. 2.8. All drivers have 1 wave around per race, and they can use it if they are a lap down or 2 laps down or any amount of laps down. They can just use that to get back a lap. And 2.9, the highest running driver that has a lap down will get the free pass to get a lap back. Pretty simple, nothing crazy. We are finally on to a new section, Section 8, how to hand out penalties. And this one, actually, yeah, the whole rest of the thing is like shorter than Section 7. Alright, here we go, Section 8, how to hand out penalties. 1.1, if handing out a penalty mid-race without needing help from the officials that is handing out the penalty must speak like an NFL referee at the time of handing out the penalty. And I will give you an example. So let's say someone jumped the restart. False start, number 97, 5-second time penalty, remain green. There's an example. Or redo restart or something, I don't know. Oh, wait, I forgot something from Section 7. I forgot to write that down. 3.0. Alright, so Section 7, 3.0. I forgot to mark this down. If 90% of the more jumps a restart, then we just aren't going to call it. So, like, it just won't be worth it at that point. We can't stop you all. Stinks if you're that one driver that didn't go, but oh well. Alright, and then this is the format for handing out penalties that do have to go to the officials. So, 1.2. This is the format. The situation in question will be discussed with the officials. 1, to discuss whether there should be a penalty, and 2, what the penalty should be. Findings on day 1 of should there be a penalty and what they would penalize the driver for will be published with how many votes. An example, 3 out of 5 voted for this. and mention extremes if there are any, which are not considered. Step 2 is if one consequence has a majority vote, that will be put in place and tiebreakers will be decided. So let's say something gets 3 votes, everything else has 2 votes. That thing that got 3 votes will immediately be used, and tiebreakers, officials will talk that out. Step 3 is publish the findings at the end of day 2 and announce the penalty. Section 9, 1.1. This is appealing penalties. Drivers have the right to appeal penalties if they believe they have wrongfully been penalized through a form of which the link will be posted with the final penalty announcement. 1.2. Drivers who appeal penalties will be subjected to a case in an Argo court of law, or in a court of Argo law, as it says on here. And 1.3. Drivers have the right to a lawyer. They need to hire them. I don't have any extra lawyers lying around, so I'm going to need you guys to get your own lawyer. You could get one if you want, but legally, I'm not. Argo is not required to give you a lawyer. You have to go find a lawyer yourself if you're going to get a lawyer. And if you don't show up within 10 minutes of the case, or at least you're trying to show up within 10 minutes of the case, you automatically lose. Section 10 is other. Race manipulation, not allowed. Officials can change things when needed, and if something is changed, it needs to be announced prior to the race. But I think that's everything. So if I missed something, again, let me know in the comments. And, yeah. Alright, I know we are doing a draft, but I do want to say the drivers that are yet to find a ride. Now, obviously, if we get new drivers, I will update this, like new drivers that sign up for the league. But here is a list of drivers who do not have a ride. Angelo does not have a ride. Master, Dre, Fire, Wyatt, Cheetah, Nascraft, Transformer, Neon, Fox, Lando, Extinct, Darth, It's Me, and a new guy that has joined the league over the off-season and is not yet to race, Pringle. So, again, if you have questions on any of these drivers, let me know. I can answer, like, how much they participate, all that stuff. But, yeah, at this point, if you don't have drivers, there's 8 seats still available. So, obviously, some of these guys won't be getting rides. But there's 8 seats still available. 3 charters still for sale, so I think 11 seats overall. And, yeah, we're going to get that figured out pretty soon. So, that'll do it for the stream. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.